Right now, he's accused of killing 3 local teens last fall while driving drunk. Hear what he pled before a Dane County judge.
Plus, an hours-long standoff this evening on Madison's east side. We'll tell you what happened.
And major flooding in eastern Kentucky leaves at least 8 people dead and hundreds without a place to call home. That's all ahead on News 3 now at 10. Tonight, Eric Mehring faces decades in prison. He calmly pleaded guilty today to all 3 counts of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle in connection with a deadly crash that killed 3 local high school students last fall.
Mehring was let out by a bailiff this afternoon after a hearing that lasted 15 minutes. Armand Rahman spoke with his attorney afterwards and has more. Armand?
Eric and Charlotte, as part of Mehring's plea deal, prosecutors dismissed 5 other charges against him. Tonight, his attorney tells me he knows the pain he's caused and is prepared for what could be a sentence up to 75 years in prison.
What is your plea?
I plead guilty.
It marks the beginning of the end of trial for Eric Mehring.
So I will accept them, find you guilty, order judgments of conviction.
The 31-year-old pleading guilty in Dane County Court Thursday to killing 3 teenagers last October by ramming into their car when he was driving with 3 times the legal limit of alcohol in his system.
In many ways, he's very glad to get here today, enter his pleas, and let the family begin to see that they'll get justice and they'll get closure.
Simon Belezzi, Jack Miller, and Evan Cradowell, all high school seniors, were inside the car, which burst into flames after being hit by Mehring at 75 miles per hour on Mineral Point Road.
I love you, Jack, with all my heart. I love you so much, baby.
Their deaths rocked Madison West High School, where Belezzi was a senior, and Middleton High, where Miller and Cradowell were finishing school. Jack Miller's family released a statement on Mehring's plea, which reads in part, "While it is appropriate that Eric Mehring took responsibility for his actions, his guilty plea can never take away the pain we feel every single day. His selfish choices have deprived Jack, Evan, and Simon of the future lives they so richly deserved." For his 3 counts of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle, Mehring could spend up to 75 years in prison. The judge will decide that after a standard pre-sentence investigation.
It will be the basis upon which the judge has to do the hardest job, which is decide how much punishment and what form of punishment is appropriate. Remembering that nothing can ever bring back a life, nonetheless, there has to be enough impact of the sentence so that the families know that justice was roughly served.
And after the pre-sentence investigation ends, Mehring is set to be sentenced on December 9th.
Armand, thank you. Time now to check on our first warn forecast. Here is Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
A beautiful night out here, Eric. Skies are clear and temperatures are comfortable. Actually feels a little cool, which is nice. Let's start out by taking a look at the time lapse from the WISC Skycam. Bright sunshine this morning, just a few fair weather cumulus clouds during the afternoon, and skies cleared out nicely by sunset. That's the kind of weather video you want to see this time of year. Doppler track, no rain across our part of the state. A few light showers up to the north where there's been a little bit of instability because of some cold air aloft, but temperatures are just cool near the ground. Our high temperatures today, upper 70s to lower 80s. Janesville, a warm spot at 81 degrees. Milwaukee and Kenosha also hit 81. But to the north and west, temperatures stayed in the mid-70s. And right now, temperatures already down in the 50s over toward Camp Douglas and Black River Falls. But most areas are in the 60s. But with dew point temperatures in the low to mid-50s, those temperatures will drop off pretty quickly overnight. So I'm looking for a low of about 56, mostly clear skies overnight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and pleasant with a high temperature of 78. Be a little warmer, but still not too humid for the weekend. And then we have hot and humid weather by the middle of next week. I'll have more on that in the forecast in a few minutes.
Police say they've arrested a 22-year-old man in connection with a sexual assault on State Street this past weekend. The man has not been officially charged, but is facing tentative charges of sexual assault and false imprisonment. Police say a woman was assaulted early Sunday while she was waiting for a ride share. Several police officers responded to a domestic disturbance in Madison's east side tonight. That led to an hours-long standoff. Police were called to the 5400 block of Camden Road around 7 o'clock. Officers cleared the scene just before 9. Our crew saw a man being taken away from the home in handcuffs. Officers say multiple people were inside the home and no weapons were involved. They also said no one was hurt in this incident. You can follow the latest updates on channel3000.com.
Milwaukee County officials are now offering a $10,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of a missing 75-year-old priest. John Kluckman who goes by Father Anthony, was last seen leaving his apartment building around 1:30 last Wednesday morning. Kluckman is a member of the Priests of the Sacred Heart and has dementia. He is described as 5 feet 10 inches tall, about 250 pounds. Kluckman last seen wearing glasses, a square print multicolored shirt, and dark pants. He was also carrying a small duffel bag. If you see him, you're asked to call police.
Within the last hour, the Wisconsin Elections Commission took action over alleged fraud with the state's absentee ballot request system. A conservative group says they illegally requested absentee ballots in someone else's name in an effort to expose flaws in the system. But the state's top elections official says the system remains secure and that it was simply just a criminal act. The commission approved tonight a mailer that will go out to some absentee voters asking them to check that no one else filed the request for them. That will go to voters who have different mailing and voting addresses. The August primary is just 12 days away, but what happens if you already voted for a candidate who dropped out of the race? Well, the good news is it is not too late to change your vote. Voters who used absentee ballots can reach out to their municipal clerk and ask them to spoil their ballot. Voters can then either vote early in person or have a new ballot sent to them by mail. This all needs to be done ahead of the deadline, which in most cases is next Thursday.
The important thing to remember is if you send in your absentee ballot, you cannot appear on election day and request a new ballot. It has to be done by the deadline for requesting a new absentee ballot.
If you have not mailed your ballot back, it is a similar process, but also be careful because you can only spoil a ballot twice. You can find more information through Will Keneally's story on channel3000.com.
Voters and community organizations rallied outside the Dane County District Attorney Ishmael Ozan's office today. They're demanding that he launch a criminal investigation into the slate of fraudulent 2020 Electoral College electors and prosecute those involved. Ralliers say one of the fraudulent electors told them the group met in Dane County to create the documents they would later pass on to Congress as if those were Wisconsin's real Electoral College votes. Federal investigators have requested information from the committee related to fake electors in multiple states, including Wisconsin.
These fraudulent electors tried to substitute their political preference for the votes of Wisconsinites. They ignored the law and they violated one of our core and most important values as Americans. In our democracy, voters decide.
Barnes went on to say that we must act now to make sure the next election does not suffer the same smear campaign the previous election did after November of 2020. Ishmael Ozan released a statement responding to today's rally saying, quote, "We take issues of election integrity very seriously. I am aware of the incident referenced and the request of certain groups in the community."
Meanwhile, a Wisconsin judge says the Republican-ordered taxpayer-funded investigation into the 2020 election found, quote, "absolutely no evidence of election fraud." The investigation did, however, reveal contempt for the state's open records law by Assembly Speaker Robin Vos and Michael Gableman, who's leading the investigation. Judge Valerie Bailey Wrin awarded American Oversight $98,000 in attorney's fees for a lawsuit they filed against the two, which will be paid out by taxpayers. You can read more about this ruling on channel3000.com. Today, President Biden pushed back against talks of a recession and instead pointed to parts of the economy that remain strong. Those include the job market, consumer spending, and U.S. business investments. The remarks come after the Commerce Department reported the country's GDP fell for a second straight quarter, one sign of a recession. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger said the definition is less important than how Americans are doing.
What matters is people are freaking out that prices remain high. It is hurting people who make less than the median household income of $60,000 or $70,000.
The latest polls continue to show the economy a top concern for many Americans.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, haircut prices are up 6.2% from last year. That's the largest annual increase since back in 1982. Now, the hairstylists at Atwood Barbershop say they can see why a lot of people have had to increase prices. Supply chain issues are causing problems with product. Everything's getting more expensive with inflation, and it's an industry that was hit extremely hard by the pandemic.
We were just getting to like a slight normal, and then things go and, you know, work back up. Can we just get back to like a steady price wage where people are able to afford things?
Now, fortunately, Atwood Barbershop says it hasn't raised prices yet. You can get a haircut there for about $30, which is still well below the national average. However, stylists say the barbershop could inch toward higher costs if issues with inflation continue. President Biden and Senate Democrats say a new historic bill could fund U.S. energy, lower prescription drug costs, and fight rising inflation. The reconciliation bill would invest nearly $370 billion in energy and climate programs over the next 10 years, with a goal of reducing carbon emissions by 40% by the year 2030. The bill also includes incentives such as an up to $7,500 tax credit for people who buy electric vehicles and allow Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices, and would cap out-of-pocket costs for seniors to $2,000 a year.
I think that we've hit a balance. This is not a Democrat bill. This is not a Republican bill. This is an American bill.
I think it's really bad for America right now as we're trying to climb out of this spiral we have, which is low economic growth and high inflation.
The Senate could vote on the bill as early as next week. Still to come, the White House updates the status of monkeypox and its vaccines in the U.S.
And we hear from local health officials on why it's something worth paying a little closer attention to. That's next at 10.
Earn a 30-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver for every $60 you spend. That's a 30-cent fuel saver this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Don't miss Fuel Frenzy Weekend.
As owner of Wisconsin's largest construction company, I have a blueprint, a plan for every project. So here's mine for Wisconsin. I'll stand up to the radical left and their socialist agenda. We'll back the blue and get tough on violent crime. Bad guys, they're not gonna like me. I'll crack down on election fraud and keep schools open 5 days a week, no matter what Fauci says. I'm Tim Michaels, and that's my plan. Now let's get to work.
Son, it's about time we had the talk. It's time you knew the truth. Windows can take a beating, especially here in the Midwest. When it's time to replace them, call Feldco.
Isn't Feldco offering 2-for-1 windows right now, Dad?
They are, son. They are.
Less talk, more action. 2-for-1 windows from Feldco makes home improvement easy and affordable.
2-for-1 windows from Feldco and Sunday. Call now.
Call quality windows, siding, and doors. Call 866 for Feldco.
Dear gas prices, Toyota's hybrid lineup says, go take a hike. Because we bring efficiency with power and savings with style. Think you can stand in our way? We got this. Toyota Hybrids.
Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, our no-cost maintenance plan with roadside assistance.
Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
I'm U.S. Senate candidate Peter Pekarsky, and I don't own an NBA franchise. I'm not a mega billionaire or a career politician. I don't host lingerie parties or accept PAC money. I've never claimed I had a degree when I didn't. I may not be filthy rich, but I'm the only candidate that has the balls to protect your rights and get the job done.
Earn a 30-cent Hy-Vee fuel saver for every $60 you spend. That's a 30-cent fuel saver this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Don't miss Fuel Frenzy Weekend.
School will be starting before you know it, and we want every kid to have the gear they need.
So tomorrow we'll tell you how you can help us kick off our back-to-school supply drive.
Plus, I'll have your all-city swim meet forecast for the rest of the weekend, tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
With more than 4,700 confirmed cases now, the United States now has more monkeypox cases than any other nation in the world. The Health and Human Services Secretary announced today the department will distribute 786,000 newly available doses of a vaccine. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is still weighing whether to declare monkeypox a public health emergency, which would open up more resources to fight it. Now, as of today, more people are eligible for a monkeypox vaccine in Wisconsin, something one community was hoping to hear. Of the nearly 4,700 cases in the U.S., almost all have been reported in gay and bisexual men. Today, the Wisconsin Department of Health announced that this group will now be able to get vaccinated, something the Wisconsin LGBTQ community has been desperately waiting for. But Dr. Ajay Sethi with UW-Madison says everyone needs to pay attention.
hey, you've got skin, therefore you are vulnerable to monkeypox. And we've already had 2 kids, getting infected in this country. And that's sort of proof that anybody can be vulnerable.
Right now, there are 14 confirmed monkeypox cases in Wisconsin.
Few children enjoy going to a clinic or a doctor's office, especially when shots are involved. So this afternoon, the Madison Children's Museum tried to offer a more comfortable space for COVID vaccines. The clinic specifically targeted for younger children opened at 3 o'clock. Kids, parents, and guardians got free access to the museum to play for a while they waited for their vaccines. Children under the age of 12 have particularly low vaccine rates in Wisconsin. In fact, the DHS reports about 28% of kids ages 5 to 11 are vaccinated. Meanwhile, a national survey this week found nearly half of all parents with kids under 5 will not get their child vaccinated against COVID.
I think it's just parents being overly cautious with their children, and again, children get this virus as well. We do know that, again, if we've had the vaccines, it tends to be a milder disease, and that's what we're trying to promote across all the age groups that are eligible for this vaccine.
This is our 5th vaccine clinic, and we are so thrilled to bring a vaccine clinic for young children.
70 people are signed up to get the vaccination at the museum today. Well, firefighters are making progress in their fight against the oak fire near California's Yosemite National Park after it mushroomed to 20,000 acres, becoming California's biggest wildfire this year in just 24 hours. Winds were lighter today, and that kept flames shorter and held down the thick smoke blanketing the hills close to Yosemite. It's now 26% contained, but thousands are still under evacuation orders.
And a state of emergency in Kentucky after rounds of deadly storms and intense flooding. At least 8 people are dead, a number still unaccounted for as more rain is expected. Meredith Wood with the latest from residents on the damage all across the state.
He said, it is to the dog lot. He said, you better be getting you some clothes on, getting your backpack, because we got to get out of here. And by the time we got out to the neighbors, out here to Tony's Double Wide, it went from the back of the trailer to the carport.
What started out as a peaceful Wednesday night quickly turned to a morning of fear for residents when severe storms swept across eastern Kentucky. You can see powerful images of buildings and homes completely underwater in new drone video. In boats and kayaks going door to door, residents wasted no time searching for survivors in the hardest hit areas. The National Guard also assisting in rescue efforts.
I want to thank all our first responders that are out there doing such heroic work.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear confirming one of the victims killed was a woman in her 80s. The governor also expressed how he expects the death toll to rise, plus how this catastrophic event could end up being one of the most significant deadly floods in the state.
Hundreds will lose their homes, and this is going to be yet another event that it's going to take not months, but likely years for many families to rebuild and recover from.
Governor Beshear also urging residents in other parts of the state to take precautions and protect themselves as flash flood warnings continue. I'm Meredith Wood reporting.
And this marks the second major flash flood event in 2 days, where the St. Louis metro area got up to 13 inches of rain just on Tuesday. Well, before things heat up around here, we're gearing up for a very nice weekend across southern Wisconsin. Here's Gary with your certified most accurate forecast.
Yeah, the air is really dried out here, so we're not looking at any rain, but down to the south, boy, Kentucky was just nailed. You can see the Doppler track precipitation estimates, and this is the storms that kind of came out of the St. Louis area and then basically moved from west to east, right through the central portion of Kentucky. The worst of it in the eastern portion of the state, where 4 to 8 inches or more of rain has fallen just over the last 48 hours, and another line of showers and thunderstorms with even some hail there possibility moving through the central portion of the state. Those storms look like they're moving a little more quickly, but any additional rainfall is not going to be good news there. To the north, there were a couple of sprinkles up in northern Wisconsin with some cooler air aloft, but those have really started to fizzle down because these skies have cleared out and the air has really dried out. No rain expected through Sunday on the 3 things you need to know, but higher humidity starts to move in for next week. That could lead to some thunderstorm chances later Sunday night into Monday, and then hot weather arrives by Wednesday and Thursday with very warm conditions, highs still in the upper 80s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week. We have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday for high temperatures in the lower 90s, but you factor in the humidity, it'll feel more like between 98 and 103 degrees, maybe even a little bit hotter than that. Looking at some of the very later computer model information, the dew point temperatures could be in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees. That could lead to heat index readings closer to 105. Over the next 10 days, the actual high temperatures go from 78 tomorrow to 83 Saturday and 84 on Sunday, 85 on Monday and 84 on Tuesday. And then that big jump up to 93 on Wednesday, 90 on Thursday, and near 90 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, when the average high temperature drops into the to 81 degrees by the early part of August. 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. Take a look at this. Highest probability of above normal temperatures right over this part of the country, and precipitation expected to be below normal. That's not a good combination this time of year, but that's what we have to look forward to, at least as we head into August. Temperatures this afternoon, very comfortable. Mid-70s to near 80 degrees. Milwaukee and Janesville hit 81. But even to the south, temperatures in the mid-80s to near 90 degrees instead of the triple-digit heat we've seen recently. And that's because the jet stream has come in from the north, at least for the time being. That's bringing in a little shot of cooler Canadian air. The dividing line is where the jet stream kind of runs from west to east. And, of course, those thunderstorms running right along that temperature contrast zone, which takes them into Kentucky ahead of this cold front. But to the north and west, a large area of high pressure has really dried out the air. Temperatures comfortably cool. Right now, 50s in the northern part of the state, 60s here in southern Wisconsin. Compared to 24 hours ago, those temperatures down by about 5 degrees or so. For tomorrow, lots of sunshine, a pleasant day overall. High temperature 78 degrees, winds out of the west-northwest, 8 to 15 miles per hour. 7 to 10-day forecast. We warm up a bit for the weekend, but the humidity levels should still stay pretty low. The humidity starts to come up Sunday night into Monday when some thunderstorm chances move in, and then the real heat Wednesday, Thursday, and very warm conditions all the way as we head into next weekend.
And coming up in sports, skating for a cause. Why former Badger hockey players were back in town to raise money for youth hockey. That's next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all means that you call Gruber Law Offices and your case is handled. You don't have to worry about anything anymore.
As soon as you make that call, you're going to have somebody on your side.
They're going to give you all the information that you need to know. They're going to make sure that you're feeling secure about everything in the process.
It's a phrase we'll never forget. Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Culver's couldn't have started anywhere but in Sauk City, Wisconsin. Still today, we are a family restaurant. Here, nearby farms grow the food we eat, smiles are contagious, and everyone is someone's neighbor. It's a place where our love of fresh food is as strong as our love for each other. It's a feeling of welcome you'll notice the moment you stop by. Because where we come from has made us who we are, and for that, we couldn't be more proud. Welcome to Delicious.
It's time for new energy-efficient replacement windows from Champion.
Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Don't sweat over high energy bills. Stay comfortable in your home all year long. Call or go online to book your free estimate at getchampionwindows.com.
Imagine not being able to cool yourself by pressing a button. For many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Families, elderly, disabled, and veterans. A hot summer day is not simply uncomfortable for them. It can be deadly. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home.
In a recent clinical study, patients using Salonpas patch reported reductions in pain severity, using less or a lot less oral pain medicines, and improved quality of life. That's why we recommend Salonpas. It's good medicine.
After 35 years in business on Madison's west side, Capital Car Cleaners is celebrating by offering all our customers $10 off an interior or exterior detail or $20 off a full-service detail. We detail all cars, pickups, SUVs, motorcycles, and full-size vans. Call today to set up an appointment at our Watts Road location and get $10 off an interior or exterior detail or $20 off a full-service detail. Check out our website at capitalcarcleaners.com.
Capital Car Cleaners, auto detailing at its best.
Hi, I'm Scott Walker. Please join me in voting for Rebecca Clayfish for governor. Rebecca stood with me as we took on the big government special interest and cut taxes. While Rebecca and I were fighting for reform, Tim Michael's company was teaming up with the union bosses and those lobbying for a gas tax increase. Rebecca and I knew that these increases would hurt Wisconsin families, so we stopped them. There's only one conservative fighter in the race for governor. Her name is Rebecca Clayfish.
The Stars were on the ice tonight, and not just for hockey. Former Badger hockey legends and current pro players were back in town for the second annual Bob Suter Memorial Classic, competing for a common goal: to give back to youth hockey. Last season, they raised enough money to donate 110 sets of youth hockey equipment. This year, the goal is 150. Bob was all about the kids, and that's a tradition his son Ryan Suter is honored to carry on.
The best thing, most rewarding thing for me is when you come to the rink and you see kids out at open hockey and they have those starter sets on. So for me, that's the biggest thing. You get to, give back. My dad was always it's all about the kids, was kind of his saying. So to carry that on and to see these kids benefit from this, it makes everything worth it.
Besides his usual off-season workout program, Graham Mertz went to quarterback school this summer, and his professors know a thing or two about being QB1 under center at Wisconsin. Brooks Bollinger and Scott Tolzien combined for 68 starts during their time in Madison and shared answers and perspective to Mertz on the ups and downs of playing the quarterback position at Wisconsin.
I think they give perspective and can share it and lived it. And I'm sure they shared what made them good, and you're not that unique. A lot of guys go through it.
It was really interesting. It's pretty cool just to kind of pick their brain and see how they approach things, and going into a game week, what they looked for and stuff like that. So it was definitely fun.
During a rookie minicamp with the Packers, Danny Davis opened some eyes, so much so that the former Badger receiver is back in Green Bay for the team's training camp. Now, yesterday's first day with the vets felt like a dream, and Davis's goal for the rest of the week: just be a sponge, soak up as much information as he can so he can make the team.
It's kind of surreal, but, I just try to take a deep breath and, be in the moment and, understand that, it's a blessing to be in the spot where I'm at now and, just attack each day and, listen to the guys like Alan Lazar, Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins, and all them guys, and just, trying to, take what they got and apply it to my game.
The University Bookstore was the place to be tonight if you're a fan of Wisconsin volleyball. Fans packed the store to get their copy of Point Wisconsin, signed by author Dennis Punzel, Kelly Sheffield, Dana Redke, and Sydney Hilly. The former Badgers posed for pics, relived the national championship run, and even held a baby.
Honestly, the reason why I just love the city of Madison so much and just this community that we have here at UW is just because everyone is so passionate about our sport, and just us as a team has watched us grow, and just hearing everyone's story is just so incredible. So to be able to come back and connect with everybody and just hear their stories about the national championship, it's incredible.
We're back after this.
Mom, Abel's looking for you.
Oh, all right. As parents, we know that all Wisconsin kids should grow up in a healthy, safe world. As a women's health doctor, I know that access to abortion services is fundamental to personal and economic success. I'm going to fight for financial security so Wisconsin families can succeed and even dream. I'm Jillian Bettino, a mother, a doctor, a fighter, and I'm running for Wisconsin State Treasurer.
Soak in the savings at the Century House. Right now, get a $100 instant rebate for every $1,000 you spend on any qualifying stressless seating. Don't miss the perfect opportunity to fill your home with the world's most comfortable seating for less. It's time for Stressless, proud to be endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Protect your cars, boats, ATVs, and other outdoor power equipment with help from Menards. Shelter Logic offers the largest variety of shelters and canopies for all types of weather conditions. Save with 11% off all Shelter Logic storage solutions. Store and protect your tools, equipment, and seasonal items with Aero Storage Buildings. Save 11% on a wide selection of sizes and color options right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
the Jingle Man, Wisconsin. That means it's time to get a versatile, rugged, athletic SUV that makes you feel like you just won a title. Again. Honda was just crowned KBB.com's best value brand for the 7th year in a row. So get up and go to your Wisconsin Heartland Honda dealer today. Honda gets Wisconsin. Bring it home, Songbird.
Get up and go! I've got some cheese curds that I'm willing to share. And I want to ride that giant slide over there. So if you've got 11 days to spare, won't you come with me to the Wisconsin State Fair? Won't you come with me to the Wisconsin? Great state of Wisconsin State Fair.
There's something for everyone. Wisconsin State Fair, presented by U.S. Cellular, August 4th through the 14th.
I am frustrated with my own party. You know, we've had 50 years to make Roe into law, but we've failed. And you know what, guys, I'm glad that now that Roe is overturned, you are all now sharing your own personal stories. But I wasn't the only one talking about reproductive rights, because for me, this is not an afterthought. If Wisconsin wants to restore its women's rights to choose, they'll send the woman who will get the job done and defeat Ron Johnson.
I'm Sarah Godlewski. I approve this message.
Go to Amazon.com/skills to enable Channel 3000 news briefs.
After a 2-year hiatus because of the pandemic, the 62nd Annual Lumberjack World Championship returned to Hayward today.
This year marked the return of international competitors to the Lumberjack Bowl, with contestants from 5 different countries taking part in various competitions.
The Lumberjacks from the U.S., Canada, Sweden, Japan, the Czech Republic, they'll all do their best at chopping, sawing, and log rolling their way to victory. The competition will run through Saturday, a long tradition up north in Wisconsin. Gary, weather looking good the next few days.
Yeah, very comfortable here right now. There's the live view from the Edgewater Skycam. Skies are clear. Temperatures right now in the lower to middle 60s, 67 right now. Madison with a dew point of 54. So the air pretty dry, which for a low 56, high tomorrow 78, and then a warm up next week. Highs in the 90s with an alert day by Wednesday.
Gary, thank you, and thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.